Hello, I'm meteorologist Anthony J. Thanks for tuning into my new channel here, updating folks on what is going on with another round of severe weather that is affecting you in the Midwest if you're there. Thanks for tuning in, and let me show you what's happening. There's a storm system now that's over the middle of the plain states, and that is producing as I speak, some severe weather. I'm going to show you the radar in just a second, but there are tornado watches and all kinds of severe weather outlooks in effect. Now, here's the storm right now on our surface map here. It's located right in the middle of the Dakotas. This is a model depiction, and I'm going to go in and show you some more of what is going on as far as that goes. And this is the severe weather outlook for today. The enhanced risk and slight risk, it's really the area up here that they're most concerned about. There could be severe weather down to the south, but it really, this is going to be, especially for the next several hours, honed in on this area right in the Midwest. So let's show you what's going on. We have a threat also going to tomorrow. Now, let me mention there's actually a higher risk on Friday. But for now, I want to show you what's happening currently. Here's the storm system. It's over the Dakotas. This is a very intense low pressure area that's centered over eastern South Dakota and moving into North Dakota. So there's quite a bit of concern today that this could produce a lot of tornadoes, because anytime we get a storm system that's this intense and it's a very deep low pressure area, you can get a lot of tornadoes. But fortunately, what's happening is while we have the storm system here and there has been some tornado warnings, most of the shear, which you need for severe thunderstorms, is located up in this area around the surface low. So the surface low is fairly compact, and so the best shear is concentrated. But some of this will drift over east over this area here. Fortunately, it's not going to be as bad as it could be, but we could still see a few strong tornadoes. You see here, these are clouds coming up from the southwest. Those higher clouds and these clouds indicate drier air that is moving in, which is actually cutting the severe weather off to some degree. But let me show you this tornado watch. Minneapolis, St. Paul, you had some storms pass through earlier. Didn't see any reports of tornadoes in Minneapolis, especially areas north and east of there and into Wisconsin are the areas that I would be watching very carefully. And this is a depiction of where it's going to happen. As we go through the afternoon and evening, Minnesota will eventually clear out of it, but Wisconsin and maybe even northern Illinois around Chicago could see some. Now, I showed you that tornado watch, and I'm going to show you another depiction here. Another tornado watch just went up in Wisconsin. So I'm going to show you some info on that. That includes Green Bay, Madison, and you've got some storms percolating near Madison now, and western, especially western Wisconsin around Eau Claire and down to the south. So they are talking about, let me show you what the Storm Prediction Center is saying. And they are saying tornado, obviously a tornado watch, a few of them, and a couple of intense tornadoes are possible in that watch box. So large hail, a very large hail, up to 3 inches. That's about softball size. So that would be the case. And these will be fast-moving storms. So there is that latest tornado watch, and that will go now until 10 o'clock. So there, if you're in those locations, especially, it looks like Minneapolis, you may not have to deal with too much more, but Wisconsin and northernmost Illinois, Rockford is under that. And the areas, the northernmost suburbs of Chicago and getting up to Racine and Milwaukee, you are under a tornado watch. So you have to keep abreast to the sky conditions. And one of the reasons is we have extremely high humidities here. These are the forecasted dew points, and they're verifying. So it's like a tongue of warm, moist, humid air that's going to feed into potential tornadoes. And I think Wisconsin is basically kind of ground zero for it, the way it's looking. And this extreme instability, this is what we call CAPE. It's just a severe weather parameter. And as you go higher here, anything really that you see, beginning even the blue shade, is high enough to produce potential tornadoes. But once you get into the orange and the red, you could see catastrophic tornadoes. Now, fortunately, down here, where the instability is greatest, we're not likely to see any tornadoes today. It's like, say, around St. Louis through central Illinois. But from northern Illinois across this zone, this is going to be a feeding ground for severe weather. And let me just change sources here, and I'm going to show you the current radar. And as I mentioned, there have been some tornado warnings, but not very many. And we'll see exactly what's going on right now. And you can see on the radar, that's the storm system up here. It is centered over the Dakotas. And these are warnings that are coming up. Now, in the yellow, those are severe thunderstorm warnings. Let me zoom in now. There aren't many tornado warnings in effect, but there's one up here, well northeast of Minneapolis. It is a radar-indicated tornado. Eastern Polk County, Wisconsin. They're saying right now it is near Amory, or 34 miles north of River Falls, and it's moving northeast at 50. So if you are in any of these towns you can see there, like Frederick, Clear Lake, Lake Wilderness State Park area, and so on, there could be a tornado there. It has not been observed. That's good. And we're generally not as concerned with those as the ones that are observed, certainly. But let me zoom in here. Here's Minneapolis. You had storms move through there about an hour or two ago. Didn't see any reports of tornadoes, but we had some hail and large winds in the area. Now, here's that area now. You can see how it's right over where I showed all that great instability was. So if you're in these towns, Eau Claire, you're getting hit now. You're under a severe thunderstorm warning. And all of this is moving to the north and east rather fast. Here's that tornado warning cell again. Still a Doppler indicated. Mostly over very rural country, but those towns I mentioned are in the path. Farther south, you take you down to Madison. Madison, you're about to get hit with a potential severe thunderstorm because you have a warning in effect. We're talking about quarter-size hail. This severe thunderstorm warning will go for about 30 minutes, and it's over Monticello and moving northeast of 50. And you're going to see potential hail that could damage your car or damage you. And you're also seeing all the locations involved. Madison, you're there, and all the towns around there, Monticello, McFarland, Marshall, and so on and so forth. Take cover, not a tornado, but a severe thunderstorm. Now, these storms could spawn tornadoes at some point, so you got to be aware of that. Farther north, we have what looks like a new tornado warning that just came out for this area here. It is, again, a Doppler, not a radar, not observed at this time. But these cells, you see how they're circular and discrete. Those are the ones that will most often produce the stronger tornadoes. So zoom out again. You can see the storm systems back here. Severe thunderstorm warnings going all the way up to near Grand Forks and Fargo. And this is the area that we're really watching and that I mentioned. And let me just show you something here. I'll show you again where the tornado watch is located. This is the one watch here. This is the new one that went up in Wisconsin. And actually, I mentioned Minneapolis may be clearing out of it, and it looks like you are basically out of the tornado watch now in St. Paul and Minneapolis. It's just to the northeastern suburbs, and that drier air on the satellite is kind of undercutting this, and that's kind of the saving grace. Like, this storm is so strong that it's actually sucking in a lot of dry air that will undercut the storms and dry them out and weaken them. But in this area here, this tornado watch goes till 10 farther east. So that's almost all of Wisconsin. You could see severe weather. So Madison, they're about to get hit now, the suburbs north, and we have to watch later for you there in southeast Wisconsin and the rest of Wisconsin. It's going to be a while before it may reach Oshkosh or Green Bay or Appleton. But zooming down, you see some storms in Illinois. Not too impressive. You're on the bottom end of the tornado watch. So that means that you're least likely to see tornadoes versus anywhere else. Chicago, we've been watching you. Some of the models were indicating some, supercells forming west of you and hitting Chicago later this afternoon. We still have to cover for that possibility. Although as of this time, there's not much developing. And if the dry air, as I mentioned, wins out, then you're not going to see a whole lot over there. There you see those tornado warnings again. I mentioned, now look at this. A tornado warning just went up here in Eau Claire. The cell that is hitting you now that I mentioned may now have a tornado. This is a radar indicated. So that includes you there. It says a line of severe thunderstorms, and it's moving at 50 miles per hour. Hail, and includes you in Eau Claire, in Elkmont, forgive the pronunciations on these, Altoona, Augusta, and so on and so forth. You can see them. So that you got to watch out in these areas. And you know what I'll do is I'll take this off, and I was going to put on these what we call single site radars that will show you very detailed what is going on here. And this is and it's based on these radar sites. This one from Minneapolis, you can see, look at that, the cells heading towards Eau Claire. You're getting hit as this whole area moves to the north and east. So I'll focus on these here. The one down here. This is just a radar indicated one, but they could have an actual one too. But this is heading right into Eau Claire now, and I'm going to change the perspective here. There you see it. So you're under Eau Claire. This is all going to move over you very shortly if you happen to be in that area. So that is all. So that's what we are watching very carefully. So far we've had a few little reports of tornadoes, or at least potential tornadoes. We have not seen, that I have seen, any observed ones that have been confirmed. There may have been some. So I'll go back here, and I will switch the source back again to give you a little bit more idea of what's happening with the forecast going forward, because this is going to be a 2-day event in the Midwest. That's the instability I was talked about, and this is it's also showing instability. It's called the lifted index, and this is not a mistake. This is extraordinarily unstable humid air. So if this storm was coming straight through here, we would have a major tornado outbreak across these states. Fortunately, down here, like from the Quad Cities down to St. Louis to Springfield, it doesn't appear as if we're going to see much. Chicago, you're on the fence. You might see some severe weather. You might see nothing. But you see also this instability goes all the way up here. And when you get down to these levels, if you get anything close to the yellow on this severe parameters, you could get tornadoes. If you get down into this pink, then you're talking about extreme wind and very large hail. That's why they're saying the hail could be up to softball size. And of course, potential tornadoes. Fortunately, like I said, the greatest instability is farthest from where the storm is. And eventually this all clears out for you in the Midwest. Now, I'll show you a future tracker, and I'll start it right about now. It is 4 o'clock Central Time. And you see the storms that the computer model was projecting here. And I'll move this forward, and you'll see Wisconsin really wants to take it on the chin. But this is 7 o'clock Central Time. But look, there's a cell that is potentially forming, or a cluster headed towards Chicago. So if you get hit by Chicago, it will be by about 6 o'clock, after 6 o'clock, 7, 8, the window would be 6 to 7. This is actually 8 o'clock. So Chicago, anywhere from 6 to 9 o'clock this evening is the time I would watch most carefully if you get some. Farther north, this whole band here has got to get through. And let me skip ahead there. There we go. So that's going to move across Wisconsin into Michigan tonight, and then it bows east very, very quickly. So it's going to be in and out. This is by early morning. This is dawn Friday morning. It's already cleared you out there, and you're in the clear across this area. And let me show you. That's more tomorrow, Friday. This is where all the instability is going to be tomorrow at 1 o'clock Central Time. Again, this is extreme numbers down here with the Cape values. It's not as high farther north, but you could still get tornadoes even on the edge there. And I'll show you the Cape again, which is so good for predicting tornadoes at 2 o'clock Central Time tomorrow. Extraordinarily instability over here, and unfortunately that front is going to come south tomorrow. So if you're in this zone, and I'll show you, well, first let me go back to that. You can see that extreme instability, and that also Indianapolis, you're on the edge. But really south, we're talking about the Ohio River tomorrow. That for Friday, that could hit very hard. Let me show you another depiction here. This is a depiction including the severe parameters and with some plain English here. The tornado parameter for Friday is quite high down here. So what that tells us, and let me show you the other graphic again. This is the Storm Prediction Center's forecast. They have a moderate risk down here because the front is going to be sagging south, unfortunately banging right into that greatest instability. So we are concerned about that. So places like, well, southern Illinois, southern Indiana, Evansville, Indiana, Paducah, Kentucky, and anywhere that's circled down here, we could see significant tornadoes and damaging wind gusts and extremely large hail. So this is a future cast for tomorrow, starting about midday, and you see how things evolve. We could have supercells here. This is late afternoon, and then by the evening it keeps going. The Storm Prediction Center mentioned this will go on through the night and will affect these areas. The tornado threat will gradually diminish, but it will continue till at least about midnight, and then it goes all the way down into the Appalachians and down south Friday night. So Friday is another day to watch. And again, they're talking about hail, and this is a hail chart, and you'll see that, they're talking about large apple to softball size hail that could occur, and that will do major damage. And anything like tennis ball or baseball or golf ball is nothing to sneeze about either. It could do damage. And if you happen to be caught in a tornado, or if you're in Tornado Alley, keep this in mind for the rest of the season. This is what you do to shelter if a tornado is headed towards your house or wherever you might be. Because if one is, you have to take shelter. If you, a mobile home, if you're in a mobile home, you shouldn't be in one if a tornado is coming. Find a shelter in a basement or storm cellar, especially. You'll be good there. Or if you can't, get to an interior room of your house, your high rise, whatever it might be, away from windows, and you should be okay. But don't be near windows. Don't have doors or windows open, or be outside, because you will become a projectile and you could conceivably lose your life doing that. So that's what's going on as of now. Again, the tornado watches and all the let me show you before I go anything on X that was coming up here. And we've had some of these. This is from earlier, where some of these tornado ones you see coming up here. So people were talking about this, hyping it a little bit, because there is a very serious threat for tornadoes and severe weather here, although it is going to be somewhat scattered and selective in terms of where it happens. So that is what's going on now, and there could be more tornado watches going up too. And they're talking about issuing one here. This is the weather SPC. They are talking about where they might issue the next tornado watch. They're saying a tornado watch is possible there in Illinois. That's just southwest of Chicago. And there's another one up here. And this, I believe, is concerning the existing tornado watch. Yeah, so they're continuing with that. Another tornado watch could go up soon in Illinois, southwest of Chicago, but getting into some of the southern suburbs of Chicago. So you could have a tornado watch there anytime now, say around Springfield, Illinois, and other areas nearby. So that is what is going on. If you're in the area, thanks for tuning in. This is part of my new channel. I'm part of Weather Valet, a new weather app and new streaming channel, America's Weather Streaming Channel. And everybody just, at the end of the day, we just want everybody to be safe, and that's why we're here. Thank you for watching, and I'll